All right.
Oh,
This is our first time meeting each other.
yeah,
Uh,
right.
so would you briefly introduce yourself before?
I am I'm in my late 30s, and uh, since COVID-19, I started studying English. Some I used to be jealous of other people who speak English well, so um, so I started studying English, and I'm still struggling with my English speaking skills.
Doing well though. You spoke really well.
Uh,
So yeah, well done to you. So you said you
Thank you.
started, of course,
Uh,
you during COVID-19.
yeah,
Uh,
right.
so how long have you been studying now? A year?
How long
A
have
year and
we?
a half?
Almost 2 years. I think a year
Okay.
and a half.
Nice, nice.
Hmm.
And when you started studying, did you start studying by yourself first, or have you been using Cambly since the beginning?
Ah, I taught myself. I researched. I researched YouTube how to study English, and
Mm,
then someone says reading books is really helpful to improve my English. So I started reading children's books.
that's a really good,
Oh,
yeah, I agree. It's
uh,
really helpful.
oh, really? Have you
Yeah,
ever learned the other language?
yes. I actually love learning languages. That's uh, French was the first language that I studied. I was in elementary school, and then
Mm.
I learned Italian. Well, I was studying Italian by myself when I was a
Italian?
teenager because, yes, because I
As
really
I
liked.
heard, Italian is one of the most difficult language. As I heard,
Really,
no?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people typically say, but
Uh,
I had fun. So
then you are a kind of a polyglot.
this is my goal. This is my goal. I'm
Your
working
goal.
on. Yeah.
So
So
now you can speak French and Italian and what else?
well,
Oh.
I don't speak Italian these days. But these days I speak Spanish, Japanese, and Chinese.
Simu, was it simultaneously?
Yeah, these are the
Wow.
languages that I'm concentrating on these days. So, I try to still take some classes and have.
Uh, I don't know why, but for some reason these days I became interested in Spanish, but uh, my English has a long way to go. So
Mm,
because I want to speak English like native speakers.
mm.
So these days I am considering whether I study Spanish simultaneously or not.
Mm. It's a good question. In my experience, so
Um,
basically, I would advise that you should get to a place where you're comfortable in English.
mhm.
Maybe not like advanced. It doesn't have to be advanced because really language is just. So if you can get to this kind of position, then I would say you can learn. But it
Mm,
also depends on you because there are a lot of people I know that study different. Like,
mhm.
are you somebody who can multitask, or will you get confused if you're taking in two
Uh,
languages at the same time?
mm. By the way, how do I know my English is comfortable?
Comfortable.
Oh,
It depends on yourself. So, like,
uh,
when,
mm,
but if you listen to maybe English YouTubers,
mm,
are you able to keep up with what they're saying? For example, like the
mm,
speed of how fast they're talking.
mm,
Typically, are you able to catch phrases or expressions? Like, do you
mm,
understand phrase expressions? Maybe some pop.
mm. Then I think I'm not ready.
Um,
Anyway, when I use Cambly, I sometimes ask. a tutor to correct my journal, or
Mm.
sometimes when I read children's books, then I explained the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
But these days, I don't know what to do.
I feel like, first of all, journaling is such a great idea. It's a really
Mm.
idea. I've recommended this for a few of my students who were wondering what they could do. So, yeah, journaling is really good.
Oh,
But apart from that, go ahead.
when I first started journaling, can I say it like that?
Yeah.
When I started journaling, I thought, what is good? What is good for? How do I say?
What is good to journal?
Oh, what is good to journal?
Mm-hmm.
But I stuck to it.
Mm-hmm.
After 20 days,
Mm-hmm.
I started feeling, oh, it is really helpful for me. Because while I keep a journal, I could find some expressions that I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and started get curious about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the best thing
Mm-hmm.
was, I could find some expressions that I use a lot.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I say, it turns out. Oh,
Mm.
actually, I didn't know the expressions, but after keeping a journal, I realized I used that expression a lot and
Mm.
got curious about that. So I researched
Mm.
it, and then, oh, I could
Nice. No, that's really amazing. I feel like people don't really think about how helpful journaling can be, especially journaling and reading. But it helps so much because it gives you, how do I say it? It gives you fuel for speaking.
Mm.
A lot of the biggest, I feel like the biggest challenge for speaking fluently, really in any language, is a lack of vocabulary, a lack of like words. And
Yeah.
you feel frustrated when you're trying to express yourself,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't have enough words to really
Yeah.
say everything I want to say, because
It is
you
annoying.
feel exactly, because in
Yeah.
your native language you can really speak so much in detail. This is why I always recommend reading. Reading is probably one of the easiest and more fun ways to take in vocabulary without just like memorizing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to sit down and study an English textbook. I feel like this is also a really boring way to study, especially if you're studying by yourself. A lot of people get tired of this way.
Yeah.
I think if you read a novel, it could be a
I think I could know what you're saying, and as for me, I could get a lot of vocabulary while I reading books, because in the context, I could get the feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Context clue. It's
Yeah.
to talk about. Yeah.
And when I read English books, I don't try to remember some vocabulary, because I will meet some words again if I keep reading. Then I could feel that I remember some vocabulary automatically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same way. I think it's not just about memorizing. If you only memorize and you didn't use the words, they're going to go away.
Yeah,
And this is
yeah.
what I see a lot of people doing. But I really think language learning should be fun for you, just because if it's fun, you'll remember. If it's not fun, you're just going to be like, this is just hard work.
I know what you're saying, because I already felt the feeling before. When I got stressed a lot, I couldn't remember some expressions, easily.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
when I chill,
When
oh
you're chill.
yeah, then
Like that.
it is more easier. It is more
It's
easier
easier.
to remember. Oh, and
Mhm.
it isn't stress. It isn't stressful. Oh.
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly. I'm glad that you can relate.
and the when it comes to the journal,
Mm.
the most important thing is actually before I didn't realize that, but most people think uh, keeping a journal will improve their ability,
Mm.
improve their speaking skills or something. But I don't
Mm.
agree that. Uh,
Mm.
I think journaling is a kind of output work. So if we
Mhm.
don't make any inputs, then we can't write something properly.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah. So,
mm,
like you said, if you're not taking in the language, it's hard for you to give out the language.
mm.
So that's why if you're only taking in, like I said, like just memorizing or reading and you never talk to anybody, even though you might be a really strong at listening and understanding or reading, you can notice maybe this person can't speak. When they speak, they make a lot of mistakes or pause or they're really frustrated. So that's why you have to kind of develop all of them at the same time. So the same amount of time that you're using to read and listen to videos or watch things, you also need to practice conversation and writing. But the reason why I said that writing can also help with speaking is because, like you said, they're both outputs.
Mm.
So if I write something, it also means I'm practicing, like, how do I put it? Sometimes when we speak immediately, especially in the news, like you're seeing the words in your head on paper. So the more you journal, the more you get used to that. So when you actually speak,
Mm.
it's more comfortable because you're already familiar with how the words should
Oh,
be.
yeah. There are only 2 minutes, so I have another question.
Go ahead.
uh, I always wonder about that. I know there's no answer, but
Hmm.
how long does it take to be? How long does it take to speak like native speakers?
Honestly, like you said, there's no answer. It depends on the
Um,
person.
yeah.
It depends on the person. I've seen people who study for a year
Mm.
and they're able to speak comfortably. I've seen people who studied for 7 years and they're still struggling.
Yeah.
For me.
Mm.
But it really depends on you how much you're putting time into it. If you're only studying or listening to English 30 minutes a day, it might take you longer.
Mm.
Somebody else who's putting a lot of time, it might take them a shorter time. So it depends on the person.
And am I
Mm.
beginner or intermediate or between them?
From this conversation, you've understood me quite well. And I think because you understood me, I increased my speed of speaking and you were still able to keep up. I would say that you are lower intermediate level. Also
Lower
from your
intermediate.
speaking. Yes,
Uh,
intermediate. I think you have
uh,
pretty good vocabulary. You expressed yourself quite well, and you didn't have a lot of grammar problems.
uh,
There were some
uh,
here and there, but I think
mm,
you're pretty strong. And I think if
mm.
you keep practicing, I think that you can be pretty fluent maybe in another six
Uh,
months or year.
oh, six
Yeah,
months or
yeah.
a
It
year?
depends on how much you
Mm.
practice, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We are
It was nice
running
to
out
meet
of
you,
time.
Jin.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care.